star Rachel McAdams.
Can we geek for a sec?
Like, so hardcore. And everybody, we make this show for you, so just take it with you. Thank you.
Not being able to see up close can be frustrating. Introducing eye candy, the sweet new way to see everything bigger, brighter, and better than ever before. This lightweight, easy-to-hold magnifier utilizes an optical-grade lens that enlarges print by 300%. Yes, 300%. Embedded in eye candy's frame are 12 anti-glare LED lights that dramatically help increase clarity. It's a flashlight and magnifier in one. Lightweight and portable, eye candy is ideal for dimly lit restaurants. Read recipes, prescription bottles, or nutritional information.
Hello everyone, coming up this afternoon we'll have the very latest on apparently there was some kind of an altercation at the Liberty Select Board meeting this week resulting in someone getting arrested. Also, for many Maine lobstermen, leaving the harbor is costing more than it did last year. We'll hear about how the rising gasoline prices are impacting them. And the Bangor Police Department has gained a new team member. We'll meet their new furry friend as well. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Craig Colson, sitting in for Susan Farley. We thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up. But first, we're going to start things off with a check of that forecast. And you've probably noticed we've seen some more clouds as the day has been rolling along today. And we can expect that as the day progresses. In fact, some people seeing a few raindrops today. And that's kind of what we'll see as we head into the long Mother's Day weekend as well. Unfortunately, it's looking like Mother's Day is a little bit on the rainy side, but not a complete washed out by any means. So still, you can get out there and do some things with your mom. Let's start things off by turning things over to Devin Biggs for a first look at that forecast.
Alrighty, happy Friday afternoon. We're seeing some precipitation developing on the radar with our surface boundary that's passing through. This will give us an opportunity for some rain showers and even some thunderstorms that will be approaching today. But as we do zoom things out, we're seeing that development taking place. Some more returns as you head farther off towards the south and west along that front as well and other parts of the states. But meanwhile, futurecast for us showing that development through the afternoon period today. It will start to back off as we head towards the afternoon period. Notice some more clouds hit or miss as we head towards your Saturday morning. But in the meantime, gusty winds will be expected today too, reaching up to about 20 miles per hour. Some more gusts along the coast, but notice it does overall back off later on tonight. But the winds increase again as we head towards tomorrow, up to around 25 miles per hour. So overall for today, mostly cloudy. There is a chance for showers and some thunderstorms with highs in the upper 50s and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, okay, mostly clear with lows in the mid 30s and that west breeze at about 5 miles per hour. The hourly forecast moving forward. Again, we'll have some clouds, chances for showers and some thunderstorms with temperatures overall in the 50s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you a little later on. Thank you, Devin. Well, first this afternoon, a man from the town of Liberty is facing charges following an alleged altercation at the Liberty Town Hall. According to the Department of Public Safety, state police were called to the town hall around 7:50 Tuesday night after hearing someone had been assaulted. As a result of that investigation, 50-year-old Roland Singer was accused of assaulting one of the select board members. The board member was treated at the scene for minor injuries, and Singer is now facing 2 counts of assault and 1 charge of criminal mischief. Authorities have not released further information about that alleged incident. Meanwhile, the Waldo County teen who is charged in connection with the murder of paddleboarder Sunshine Stewart last summer was in court on Thursday after recently being found competent to stand trial. Devin Young appeared via Zoom in a Rockland courtroom as lawyers for both sides addressed multiple procedural matters. The state is asking for a bind-over mental health evaluation, which is when an evaluation is done in connection with the potential for a case to be transferred from juvenile court to adult court. That motion was approved yesterday, and the evaluation will take place. It's also likely that the defense will order their own evaluation. As a result of the proceedings, we now know that the hearing to actually determine whether the case moves to adult court is months away, possibly in September. That decision is pivotal to the case and what Mr. Young is facing legally as that case proceeds. Well, there was a scary scene in Bangor Wednesday night after a woman was allegedly attacked in her home. We now have a little more information on that. 2 men are facing charges. Bangor police say it was around 6:38 Wednesday night when they learned 2 men had entered the victim's home at Holiday Park Estates, a mobile home community off Essex Street in Bangor. They say 46-year-old Michael Clark of Columbus, Ohio, and Dovon Campbell of Michigan assaulted the woman, threatened her, and then locked her in a bathroom. The woman was able to escape, and that's when police were called. We're told some nearby residents in the trailer park were also told to evacuate while police moved in to make the arrest. Clark and Campbell are now charged with kidnapping, assault, and criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon, and that case remains under investigation. For the first time, Senator Susan Collins is speaking out about a minor health condition she has lived with for decades that some may have noticed, but she hasn't discussed it until now. On occasion, Senator Collins has exhibited a slight shake that at times affected her voice or body. Collins says that is due to a condition that she has had during the entirety of her service in Congress. It's called a benign essential tremor. Collins says the condition affects about 1 in 20 people over the age of 40, but in no way affects her ability to do her job as senator. In a statement emailed to our station, she said in part, quote, "The tremor is occasionally inconvenient and sometimes the subject of cruel comments online, but it does not hinder my ability to work, and as I said, is something that I have lived with for decades." Well, with summer right around the corner, our Alex Schley tells us how rising prices could impact the Maine lobster industry.
For many Maine lobstermen, just leaving the harbor this summer is costing more than it did a year ago. From fuel to bait and traps, expenses are going up.
But yeah, it will affect everybody because it's expensive, no doubt about it.
Carter says the last time he filled his 200-gallon tank, diesel cost him about $4.60 a gallon.
I'm only hauling very close to the shore right now, so I'm only hauling like 50 gallons a day.
Carter says the cost of bait has also remained high after last summer's spike.
I guess it's about the same this year so far as it was last year, and it was up last year, so I don't see it going down.
However, Carter says the price they get per pound likely won't reflect that.
Canada has most of the bigger buyers, so they kind of control our price a lot of the time. It's really tough because they're opening seasons right now, so it depends on what the price is and how good they do, whether or not we get a better price.
Meaning in an industry with already thin margins, lobstermen say this year they're expecting to feel the squeeze. Still, despite rising costs and uncertainty, they say work doesn't stop.
You got to go. Either way, you have to go to work, so just make a little less.
In Northeast Harbor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, many of us have felt the pain at the pump lately as gas prices have been on the rise, but one gas station chain helped folks save some money yesterday while they were filling up. It's something Circle K calls Fuel Day, an opportunity for folks on Thursday evening from 4 until 7 p.m. to save 40 cents per gallon at any Circle K gas station. The Odland Road location in Bangor was bustling with people filling the parking lot, long lines with vehicles from U-Hauls to 18-wheelers to sports cars and sedans. Everyone wanted some cheaper gas. Circle K is also going to donate 10% of the profits from the event to the Children of Fallen Patriots Foundation in honor of Memorial Day. A nice thing to do. Well, Elver season is supposed to be a lucrative fishery that over the years has seen prices per pound over $2,000. This year's catch is seeing record lows, though. So far this season, dealers reported buying a total of roughly 5,900 pounds of Elvers, a little over half the total quota for this year's fishery, and the average price per pound is only around $308 so far. This data is preliminary. While $308 per pound is not the lowest price in the history of the fishery, it is the lowest since 2011. In 2018, Elvers fetched a little over $2,000 per pound, and in 2023, it was still over $2,000 per pound. And just last year, Elver fishers saw $891 per pound, so it certainly has gone down. The Maine Department of Transportation is closing the Taconic Bridge in Waterville later this month. It will be closed to traffic starting on May 26th and will remain closed until June 29th. The DOT will be working on the bridge replacement project then. Detours will also be set up to help pedestrians and vehicles get to where they need to go. In honor of our nation's 250th anniversary, Friends of Fort Knox will be hosting a number of historical education events. The fort was built in 1884, so it's a Civil War era fort, which makes it the perfect backdrop for the School of the Soldier events, which show participants what life of a Civil War soldier was like with live reenactors. That will kick off this weekend. In July, there will also be Civil War encampments with the 6th Maine Regiment that includes cannon firing and living history shows.
The fort is static, right? How many bricks are in this? How much stone does that weigh? How much does this cannonball weigh? That's only for a few that like that kind of stuff. It's the reenactors, the human element that kind of put it into perspective.
Despite being a Civil War era fort, the Friends of Fort Knox will be honoring multiple eras, including the medieval era, and educational demonstrations about living in that era also happens in July. There's even a Harry Potter-style wizarding and witching event in October. You can go to their Facebook page for Friends of Fort Knox for more information. You can also visit our website, foxbangor.com. Dean Martin also joined us on Good Morning Maine this morning, and we did an interview talking about all that the future season has to offer coming up. They have a lot of fun things planned, so you can see it there at foxbangor.com. Meanwhile, coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, the latest on the fragile ceasefire with Iran, and we'll also visit Rideout Gardens, which has plenty of beautiful flowers in time for Mother's Day. Don't go away.
Car accidents can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. Hurt in a car accident, I'm on top of it. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Susan Collins' charade is over. We don't care that you pretend to be remorseful at the start of a new forever war that you chose to let happen. We don't care that you are concerned while we go broke as you sell us out to the president and to the Epstein class, who are engineering the greatest redistribution of wealth from the working class to the ruling class in this nation's history. Symbolic opposition doesn't reopen hospitals. Weak condemnations don't bring back Roe v. Wade. And selling out the same working class voters who've delivered mandate for change after mandate for change is not forgivable. A performative politics that enables the destruction of our way of life is disqualified as a United States Senator. I am running because it is time for change.
I'm Graham Plattner, and I approve this message.
What is third-hand smoke? Unlike second-hand smoke you can see, third-hand smoke is invisible toxic residue left behind by smoking and vaping. It sticks to surfaces in your home and car, kids' toys, floors and carpets, furniture, clothing, pet toys, even car seats. It stays long after smoking and vaping stops, and these toxic chemicals can put the health of children, pets, and others at risk. Protect your loved ones from third-hand smoke. Visit MaineQuitLink.com to learn the risks.
Pat's Pizza in Holden is not just a restaurant that serves delicious food and pizza. They also have an adjacent party and event room. Consider having your birthday or office party at Pat's Pizza. They have indoor golf, a pro shop, and a beautiful 9-hole golf course open for the season. Pat's Pizza, Holden.
She picked up a flower pot, threw it through the front windshield of my car.
They didn't actually see me do it.
A jilted ex keeps denying.
She came back with a rock.
Who saw that? No one. You're supposed to be quiet.
But she has to have the last word.
The car didn't even run. Not because of what I did. I mean, what he's saying I did.
Next, Judge Judy.
Friday at 5 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. The ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran faces new challenges today after the United Arab Emirates says it engaged with more missiles and drones launched by Iran. This follows back and forth strikes between the U.S. and Iran yesterday. As ABC's Christiane Cordero reports, the president calling those strikes, quote, just a love tap.
For the third time since the naval blockade, U.S. forces disabled Iranian-flagged ships it says were trying to enter an Iranian port. This video shows smoke billowing from both of the ships U.S. Central Command says it targeted today. Iran has not formally responded to the U.S.'s offer to get traffic moving through the Strait of Hormuz, but says it's working with Pakistani mediators. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said this morning he expects Iran will issue its response today.
The world has to start asking itself, what is it willing to do if Iran tries to normalize a control of an international waterway? I think that's unacceptable.
The framework deal would end the U.S. naval blockade in the strait and would require Iran to lift some of its restrictions there, including tolls and sea mines. It would last 30 days, according to officials familiar with the matter. But a new round of strikes in the past 24 hours have cast uncertainty on the status of negotiations. The UAE says its air defense systems engaged with Iranian strikes today, adding 3 people were injured. It follows strikes in Iran yesterday that the U.S. describes as retaliatory, saying Iran fired first on 3 American Navy destroyers in the strait. Still, President Trump on the phone tells ABC's Rachel Scott Thursday's strikes were, quote, just a love tap, and insists the ceasefire is intact.
I'll let you know when there's no ceasefire. You won't have to know. If there's no ceasefire, you're not going to have to know. You're just going to have to look at one big glow coming out of Iran.
Iran's foreign minister responded to the back and forth strikes on social media, writing, quote, every time a diplomatic solution is on the table, the U.S. opts for a reckless military adventure, adding Iran will not bow to pressure. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
In other news this noon, Ukrainian firefighters worked to put out a large fire in a forest of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Local authorities said the fire spread to more than 2,500 acres there. Dry weather and strong winds added to the spread of the blaze. Landmines left by Russian forces in 2022, also making it impossible for firefighters to reach some of the terrain affected by the fire. A moment of hope, though, for one endangered baby animal. The State Emergency Service of Ukraine shared the sweet moment when a firefighter rescued a moose calf who lost its mother in the fire as well. Well, new numbers today in the hantavirus outbreak that started on a cruise ship. There are now 13 total cases with 6 confirmed, 7 suspected cases as well. And 3 people have died from that infection. But the World Health Organization and the CDC emphasized that the outbreak poses little risk to the general public. Here's ABC's Lindsay Tookman with the latest.
The luxury cruise ship with 140 people still on board is now expected to arrive in the Canary Islands over the weekend. Locals there protesting. Spanish authorities have reiterated there will be absolutely no contact with people on the island as the passengers disembark. Sources say the CDC has classified the hantavirus outbreak as a level 3 emergency response, meaning the risk to the general public remains low, but is being closely monitored.
This is not a virus that spreads that easily. COVID spread very, very easily, and it spread even when you didn't have symptoms. None of that is true for hantavirus. So this is something that is going to kind of burn itself out in the upcoming weeks or months.
About 30 people from around the world, including here in the U.S., got off the ship and traveled to various destinations before contact tracing started. 7 people in at least 5 states, from California to Virginia, are being monitored, and so far no symptoms have been reported. Spanish authorities report the U.S. government says it's prepared to send a plane for the 17 American passengers still on the ship.
It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Spanish authorities today say they are setting up a medical evacuation and repatriation process for passengers. And unless their medical condition prevents it, all passengers will be repatriated to their countries. Lindsay Tuckman, ABC News, New York.
Well, still ahead, we'll see what Mr. Food is cooking up, and we'll also visit Rideout Gardens in Eddington. They have brand new owners this year and all kinds of beautiful flowers that are ready for sale. That and more coming up on ABC 7 News at Noon.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stairlifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn stair lift, the world's leader in stair lifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stair Lifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn stair lift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stair Lift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stair Lift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
We need to stop the trafficking of fentanyl. We've had serious issues. Our death rate climbed tremendously.
Susan Collins successfully fought to give law enforcement the critical tools they need to combat fentanyl traffickers.
And I don't know anybody else as sincere as Susan Collins is about keeping our young people and our communities safe. Thank you, Senator Collins, for delivering when it matters most.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Did you know that cabbage is one of the oldest vegetables known to man? Well, it is. And over the years, we've prepared it a bunch of different ways. We've shredded it, stuffed it, braised it, and roasted it. And when we discovered how good it was for us, we loved it even more. After all, 1 cup has only 20 calories, plus it's high in vitamins and fiber, and it's low in saturated fat and cholesterol. And if you think we love it, Scott Robb of Palmer, Alaska loves it so much that he broke the Guinness World Record for growing the largest one. Get this, he grew a cabbage that weighed in at 138 pounds. Imagine how much coleslaw that could make. One of my favorite ways to make it is to saute it in some drippings from bacon that we've just cooked off, along with some chopped onion, some peas, a bit of butter, and a little salt and pepper. And not only is cabbage good for us, it's budget friendly. Once it's tender, we crumble the bacon and toss it in to give it some smokiness. This is one of those side dishes that seems to go with everything. I sure hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our buttery cabbage. It's so tasty, maybe you can break the world record for making it one of the most requested side dishes in your house. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a buttery way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Looks pretty tasty. Well, Mother's Day is this Sunday, and flowers are a go-to gift, of course. And there's a nursery at Eddington whose new owners are hard at work making sure there's something for everyone there. Our Doug Banks explains it's not about what kind of flowers you get, it's really about what they represent.
Life is in bloom at Rideout Gardens in Eddington as they prepare for Mother's Day.
It's really the Super Bowl for nursery businesses. Mother's Day is what nursery businesses prepare for.
It's a welcome change of pace during a gray-ridden spring.
Very gray, very wet, but that's living in Maine, right?
Growing alongside tomorrow's colors are Chris Glick and his wife, the new co-owners of Rideout Gardens.
I work in cybersecurity. Any other free hour I have, taking care of plants. The previous owners, Mike and Diane, are still very active in helping us. This is our first year, so we have 3 greenhouses open. We've got 1 vegetable greenhouse and then 2 flower greenhouses.
Which makes it easy on those seeking variety or specificity.
I want fire tails.
I come here with the thoughts of teaching my children about how plants grow and vegetables grow and where our food comes from.
As time ticks towards Sunday, flowers are not fleeting beauty, but rather a moment encapsulating a lifetime.
Whether it's your spouse or your own mother, it shows that love is long-term, much more long-lived than flowers in a vase.
In Eddington,
it's a good reflection.
Doug Banks.
And of course, gives that pop of color.
ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
We wish them the best of luck with their new venture. And when we come back, unfortunately, not a great weekend for planting plants, but not a terrible weekend either. We'll hear from Devin Biggs with the full 5-day forecast. Don't go away.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Hard work used to be enough in Maine. You could stern in the summer, plow in the winter, dig clams, and send your kids to college. That's not possible anymore. We didn't stop working hard. The rules changed. I'm running to get money out of politics, pass real term limits, tax the wealthy, not the workers, and guarantee health care as a right, because you shouldn't have to be a billionaire to get a fair deal. I'm Graham Plattner, and I approve this message.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the C&R promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with C&R Carpet Cleaning.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
The weekend is finally upon us. Everyone's wondering what the weather will be doing this weekend. A big weekend, of course. Unfortunately, it looks like we'll see a lot of clouds and maybe some rain too, but still, it's not going to be terrible. You can still get out there and do what you need to do. Here's Devin Biggs with your full 5-day.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have wave heights at around 2 feet this morning. Not enough to prompt any advisories along the coast, and even on land we have no advisories either. You have to go farther out towards sea for any wave heights that are a little bit higher at around 5 to 6 feet at this moment in time. Meanwhile, we have a surface boundary on land that's causing some precipitation to develop. We will be watching for scattered showers and some thunderstorms that will be developing this afternoon along that surface boundary. Some other precipitation, primarily rain developing this afternoon along parts of the northeast as well. Obviously, that's going to be moving southeast, but for us, again, watching for scattered showers and some thunderstorms developing this afternoon. That will be tapering off later on tonight as we hold on to a tiny bit of cloud cover. Overall, we will be mostly clear. Sunshine to start Saturday, but clouds moving in during the afternoon. Again, a little bit of precipitation possible. It will stay as rain even through Saturday night. And even as we head towards your Sunday, we will be holding on to the clouds as well. Now, here's your rain chances. I'm going to run this through, at least through parts of Monday morning. Some spots seeing up to at least 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of rainfall before at least it backs off through that that point. Further down toward the south, there will be a little bit more. Then I'll run it a little bit farther to where it adds up to at least to an inch or so, and even over an inch possible. This is between now and next Wednesday. So some more rain on the way. And with the latest drought monitor, the rainfall has been beneficial. We've been making a dent in the drought in the eastern parts of the state, but now we need to work on the western parts of the state where severe drought does remain. But overall today, we will be mostly cloudy with a chance for showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 50s and that west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, mid-30s, mostly clear, and that west breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And then there's tomorrow, low 60s, increasing clouds with rain showers possible, and that south wind at about 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast. Here's Mother's Day, and then there will be rain showers with highs in the low 60s. And then Monday, the rain showers continue with highs back in the mid-50s. And then Tuesday will be in the mid-50s again. Tuesday with a chance for rain showers.
Lots of rain in the forecast. Thank you, Devin. Well, Bangor Police Department has welcomed a new member to their team, one with a real nose for explosives. K9 Tom joined the department recently alongside his handler, Officer Chris Bartlett. The two completed a rigorous 12-week course down in San Antonio, Texas, to learn the ins and outs of detecting explosives. The two will team up at the Bangor International Airport to help keep everyone safe.
He's a great dog. He's a German short-haired pointer. He'll be 2 years old tomorrow, May 1st. Very well-mannered, unbelievable nose.
Bartlett said the training was intense and very thorough. A very warm welcome to Officer Bartlett, and happy belated birthday to K9 Tom as well. What a handsome dog. Good luck to them. All right, that'll do it for this hour, folks. We thank you so much for joining us. I want to wish a sincere happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning on Good Morning Maine.
Every year, communities recognize outstanding service with the Spirit of America Foundation Tribute. Do you know a local person or group that goes above and beyond for others? Nominate them today by contacting a select person, city or town councilor. Help honor those who make a difference where you live. For more information, visit spiritofamerica.website.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
The following program is a paid commercial announcement sponsored by Great Healthworks.
I was in a lot of pain. My hands are in constant use. And to not be able to do the things that you enjoy, it was depressing.
My back pain was so severe that I couldn't take the pain anymore. It was too excruciating.